What exactly is the problem? Is ASEAN not united in the way they want to deal with Myanmar? What needs to be done to get progress on the table?
I think certainly one of the key problems of the five-point consensus is that there isn't really a five-point consensus in the sense that different ASEAN member states have different approaches and they all have different ways to implement the five-point consensus. So there is no clear agreement, I think, among all the ASEAN member states of how exactly we want to implement the five-point consensus. Do we need to appoint a full-time special envoy, for example? And right now, a lot of the key initiatives are being left to the hands of the ruling junta, whether or not it's a permission to come or a permission to meet all the parties. And I think this has made ASEAN lose the initiative and lose the momentum to actually fully implement the five-point consensus as a whole.
When it comes to the competition between the US and China, particularly with regards to any strategic geopolitical aspirations in our region, you know, each ASEAN member obviously has different national interests, they have different strategic priorities. Does this sort of disparate and non-unified nature make it actually quite hard to work out where ASEAN sits with regards to the US and China?
I think it's certainly the case that different ASEAN member states have their own interests and approaches and concerns with US and China. But I think one thing that's important to highlight about the ASEAN Defense Ministers meeting tomorrow is the fact that the agenda setting of what is being discussed still resides within ASEAN. In fact, the whole point of the ASEAN project over the last 2 decades is to allow the grouping to be at the driver's seats of driving the regional agenda, whether it's about US, China, or something else. And I think this is where hopefully that the regional partners, China, Japan, India, the US and others can see value in the ASEAN meetings for the region to set the agenda on ASEAN's terms on key issues that ASEAN finds important.